What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new Sam Raimi horror thriller, Send Help. The movie follows Linda Little, played by Rachel McAdams, a highly capable but undervalued employee, and her arrogant boss, Bradley Preston, played by Dylan O'Brien. On their way to a business trip, their company's private plane crashes during a storm, leaving them as the only survivors on a remote, deserted island. Stranded with limited resources and no signs of rescue, the two must work together to find food, water, and shelter while navigating brutal nature challenges. Going into this movie, I have been really excited because I think Sam Raimi is one of the most underrated horror directors that we've gotten. I really enjoy a lot of his works, and the trailers for this movie looked like it was going to be bombastic, nutty, and fun, and that's exactly what I wanted this movie to be. Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien are pretty much the only characters in this movie that are carrying this movie from beginning to end. You get to meet them, you get to know exactly who they are and where they stand. You have Linda Little, who gets belittled by everybody in the corporate office. They don't give her any of respect. They treat her as this nerdy coworker who really just talks to herself and has a pet parrot, but you can tell that she is more than what meets the eye. You can tell that she's valuable in everything, and she just wants to move up the corporate ladder. Except you have Bradley Preston, played by Dylan O'Brien, who kind of gets in the way of that and really doesn't see her as a valuable asset until they crash land on this remote island, and now they have to figure out exactly how they're going to be able to get out of this situation, whether or not they're going to be able to get along with each other, and all the challenges that are going to be coming upon them. Both of these just absolutely killed it. No pun intended. But I really enjoyed the chemistry between these two because they are so polar opposite when the movie begins. Then once we get to this island, that's when the film kind of flips the script a little bit, where you have Linda kind of being the hard-on boss, and once we crash land on this island, that's when everything just starts to go tits up. And I really enjoyed all the wackiness that Sam Raimi was able to incorporate in this movie while making it fun, bloody, and nutty, because there are some twists and turns in this movie that I was not really expecting that really caught me off guard. But you can tell that this is Sam going full Raimi. I really enjoyed what he did with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where the first half of this movie doesn't feel like a Sam Raimi movie, but once we get into the multiverse stuff, that's when you can see full Sam Raimi going at it, and that's exactly what you get from this movie. It's campy, slapstick, and absolutely bloody. It's a lot more bloodier than I was expecting this movie to be, but it works in just the tandem because you're so invested every step of the way, from the moment that the plane crashes to seeing how Linda and Bradley are going to survive on this island, especially since they don't really like each other. It really does come together as a full package to the point where you're really invested in every single step of the way, whether or not they're going to be able to get rescued or they're just going to die on this island. It does get you invested in every single thing that they're going to do, because Bradley isn't really known to be out in the wild. He's more of the corporate nepotism baby, where he's basically taking over his dad's company that passed away, and so it doesn't seem like he gets out into nature a lot. Whereas Linda, her favorite TV show is Survivor, and so she kind of knows exactly how she's going to be able to survive by hunting food, cooking it, making sure that Bradley isn't a complete dick while they're on this island, because she's pretty much the only saving grace that he has. And Rachel McAdams absolutely killed it. Not only does she have to portray this nerdy yet shy, can't be able to speak up for herself kind of corporate person, and then once we get on the island, that is when she has to really come out of her shell and know what she's able to do, and all the meanwhile keeping an eye on Bradley, making sure that no funny business go around. And the way that she was able to balance these two characters, I think this is one of my favorite performances that Rachel McAdams has given in quite a while. She was strong, she was vicious, she was ferocious. The way that she doesn't let Bradley talk down to her when they're on the island, because there's no other way off the island until rescue comes, or if there's even any rescue that's able to come. While Dylan O'Brien, I always thought has been one of the most underrated actors, and the thing that he has to do in this movie for, I'd say, a good 30-ish minutes once we land on this island, is basically be hospitalized. And so he basically has to do everything that Linda has to do, while also thinking that he's still her boss. Even though they're out of the office and on this island, Bradley is no longer the boss anymore. This is Linda's job, and she is going to be taking full control of everything that happens, making sure that he knows where to stay and where to go. And the tension that builds between these two, I really enjoyed, because they just bounce off of each other very well. There is some high tension moments in here, especially when it comes down to knowing what Linda's game plan, because it does have the feel of Castaway meets Misery. Not only seeing how Linda is strategic, but she knows exactly how to survive, knowing exactly what to do. Meanwhile, Bradley is kind of resting for the first 30 minutes of this movie due to his injury where he's not able to walk anymore. He gets on Linda's nerves because he just wants to be rescued. He just wants to be off this island. He doesn't want to be anywhere near her, and she is just absolutely loving and taking everything in. And so once you see her game plan, exactly what her end goal is and how she goes about it, it does get you really invested in everything that happens and everything that transpires, while also delivering such a campy performance. Because this movie, to a certain extent, is a little bit campy, a little bit slapstick, and so it doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows exactly what it is, and it has a lot of fun with that. I think that is what makes this movie feel like the OG Evil Dead movie, is the fact that Sam Raimi is going back to his horror roots and knows exactly how to make this a lot of fun while also very engaging and nutty. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. It's the fact that not only is it really bloody, but it's also tension filled. You do care about mostly Linda because she is just getting belittled by everybody, and you do feel incredibly bad, especially with how Bradley treats her in the beginning of the film, where he's just talking down to her, making sure that she doesn't feel all that important, so that once we get on this remote place, then everything starts to flip around, and so now you are able to root for her while also not being able to root for Bradley for a certain extent. Once we get deeper into the movie, that's when the script flips again and you start caring about one side more than the other. And I think that's what makes this movie a lot of fun. It's the fact that it does have a lot of its twists and turns. You don't know exactly what's going to be happening. You can see some of the trail of where this movie is headed and where it's going because of how some of it is just really planned out. I can definitely tell that the ending is kind of choreographed, but I did not care about that because I was just enjoying seeing these two on this island and just everything that is happening. That is where a lot of this movie is really entertaining and a lot of fun. The fact that Sam Raimi is able to pull in his Evil Dead roots and give us something fun, exhilarating, and exciting, I thought was really fun. And there's also one character decision that I was not the biggest fan of. It kind of made me scratch my head. I'm not going to say what it is, but it did kind of scratch my head as to why this character did this. There's just some of that really just grinded on me and made me a little bit more confused, because throughout the entire film you can see how this character interacts, and that just slip up is something that really just didn't vibe with me. But overall, this is a movie that I really enjoy. If you're looking for a fun time at the movies, I'm not sure how packed the theaters are going to be. I'm not sure how big this movie is going to be opening weekend. It's a lot of fun to see with a crowd. This is going to be some of the most fun that I'm probably going to have in the entire year. The performances between Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams are absolutely exhilarating and so much fun. There's a lot of great tension, some great scares here and there, and it's also really bloody and really funny. And that's really something that I was really surprised at. Well, shouldn't have been all that surprised at, but it's surprisingly really funny. I really enjoyed my time. But overall, Send Help is a movie that you should definitely check out in theaters, because you're going to have a ton of fun. It's everything that you want: camp, tension filled, nutty, fun. Just seeing with a packed crowd made it even all that more exciting, especially for one scene towards the end of the movie. But those are my thoughts on Send Help. Have you guys checked it out? Are you planning on checking this film out? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'll catch you guys for the next video.